All hail Biafra. This is Biafra Liberation Army Network coming to you again. Please like, share, and comment.
A jet with diplomatic immunity. The big story here is no other jets could fit into this role. No other jet could do this job except the presidential jet. Yes, Nigerian presidential jet. That is the only jet that is covered by diplomatic immunity. That is the only jet that can, even in the middle of the night, even in the early morning, 24 hours a day, can fly out of this country to anywhere, any location around the world, does not need international clearance, does not need to identify itself, does not need any protocol. That is the only jet that can be summoned in any time, anywhere in the world, and that jet will fly from Nigeria to that place, because that is the Nigerian presidential jet. Recorded in the world, recorded in the UN, recorded by all the countries. All the countries of the world have the number of these jets, have the identity of these jets, so that they will always identify that this is the Nigerian presidential jet, and they should let it fly past. On that fateful day, this illegal act happened. It was done in the cover of darkness because the two countries did not want their citizens to know, did not want their press to know, did not want to alert Interpol or to alert any suspecting entity. And yes, what better way to do that than to use the presidential jet, the highest jet of the country, to commit an international crime. It pains me saying this. It irks me. You can imagine the level of impunity countries go to score a point. You can imagine the kind of deals they do behind our backs. You can imagine the kind of life they live with the resources of the people. Bringing Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria took a lot of resources, took a lot of illegalities, took a lot of diplomatic immunity, waste of resources just to get Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria. That shows you the level of impunity that presidents around the world commit with their presidential jets. That shows you the kind of illegality that presidents around the world commit with the government houses they live in, with the presidential house that they live in, and with also most of their international travels they claim they go. This also exposes a lot of things that go on in international crime done by presidents, sitting presidents around the world. We ask, that is how it is. That is how it is. So today, a new one has been discovered today. These are the kind of things happening in Nigeria. These are the kind of people we as Biafrans share country with. People who don't have human conscience, who don't have sense of value. They value nothing. Nothing means anything to them. Anything can be used as a scapegoat. Anything can be used for anything. There is no value. Somebody wake up any day and says he wants to buy presidential jet, he wants to buy helicopter, he wants to buy yacht, and they will sign it for him. Somebody says that he wants to go and kidnap somebody in that country, and everybody clap hand for him. Nobody can even stand up to ask the right questions. This is not the Nigeria our forefathers of Igbo extractions fought for. This is not the Nigeria. I did more fact checking, and I'm going to prove it to you by giving you a list of presidents around the world who their presidential jets, or they themselves with their presidential jets, have been caught in illegality, in crime around the world. These are facts. So you can go and verify. I'm giving you this list exclusively to know that yes, what happened to Nnamdi Kanu happened with Nigerian presidential jets. And presidents around the world are guilty of impunity doing this same thing in their countries. Only God knows what the current Nigerian president is doing with Nigerian presidential jets all this while he travels unaccounted for around the world. Let me give you a list of presidential private jets around the world that has been indicted with illegality and crime. Venezuela, Narcosobrinos cocaine flight. In November 2015, two nephews of Venezuela's First Lady used a Cessna Citation 500, a jet operated by military pilots from the presidential unit, Casa Militar, to fly over 800 kg of cocaine to Haiti. The flight originated from a terminal reserved for top officials. The nephews were apprehended by the DEA and prosecuted in the US. Markets, presidential jets, and what they have been used, impunity they used to commit, and one that was also used to rendition Nnamdi Kanu down to Nigeria. Let's go again. Number 2, Brazil, 39 kg of cocaine on a presidential plane. In 2019, a Brazilian army sergeant traveling on a plane reserved for President Bolsonaro's delegation was arrested in Sevilla, Spain, with 39 kg of cocaine in his luggage. The incident raised immediate political outcry and led to an investigation by Brazil's Ministry of Defense. Do you see that? Do you see that I am correct? That presidential jets are not actually presidential after all. These are jets that are supposed to be used for international meetings, to carry the president of a country who is the face of a country, but has turned around to be used for crime, just like the one that Buhari used to do against Nnamdi Kanu. And he thought we will not know, but it has already been uncovered. Let's go on. Number 3, Peru. Cocaine found on jets formerly used as presidential aircraft. In 1996, Peruvian authorities intercepted 167 to 176 kg of cocaine aboard a Peruvian Air Force DC-8, which had previously doubled as a presidential aircraft. The flight was set to embark on a mission to Russia. The scandal was connected to Vladimiro Montesinos, head of intelligence service and a key figure in President Fujimori's regime. Also again, in Brazil, also again in Turkey, 1.3 ton of cocaine in publicly linked aircrafts. In 2021, Brazilian authorities seized 1.3 tons of cocaine on a Gulfstream 4 jet owned by a Turkish firm linked to powerful political circles. You see that? Also, Maduro's jet, illegally acquired aircraft seized by the US. In 2023, the US authorities seized a Dassault Falcon 900EX used by Venezuelan President Maduro, claiming it had been illegally acquired through a shell company and smuggled from the US in violation of sanctions. The jet was intercepted in Dominican Republic. And the last one, El Chapo gifted presidential aircraft. A private plane that mysteriously arrived in Honduras in 2006, supposedly a gift from drug lord El Chapo Guzman to a top government official, was grounded after landing at midnight under odd circumstances. This is what we see. This is what is going on around the world. And I think the Interpol needs to start investigating aircrafts, presidential aircrafts. They need to strip them of diplomatic immunity. Because even as we speak to you, nobody knows what Nigerian president is still doing with the Nigerian presidential aircraft again. Buhari used this aircraft, the same aircraft that was used, that is meant to be used to ferry presidents around the world for international summits here and there. Many presidents have begun using it to commit crime because, of course, nobody can search a presidential jet. Nobody can search it. So, we know that Nnamdi Kanu was ferried back to Nigeria. But today, you all have known now that Nnamdi Kanu was ferried back to Nigeria with Nigerian Air Force One. Go and mark it down. They will never tell you this thing on TVC. Channels will never tell you this one. On presidential jet, that is the only jet that could have done that mission. The only jet. Because no other jet could do it. Any other jet coming into Kenya in that time would have been suspected and flagged and searched according to protocol. And of course, Kenyatta would not want to directly involve himself. But if Nigerian presidential jet landed and they marked the number as presidential jets under diplomatic immunity, whatever the jet is doing in tarmac, whatever it is doing in the airport, nobody will talk to it. Nobody will ask. A lawless estate, a business center. If not, tell me, what gives the president a power to misuse, to abuse privilege, to abuse public resources? It's as if now, once you become Nigerian president, you become the owner of Nigerian money. That's how it is. You are the king of you are the lord of the manor. To wake up early morning and go and carry out international crime, you have just shown the world the kind of things that go on in Nigeria. Before they were doubting, but now it's clear. I hope our leaders in all the pro-Biafra groups are watching to see the mistakes that Nigeria is making and to learn from it. Because we cannot afford this kind of character when we have our country. We can't afford it. So all this in-house fighting here and here, people, nobody wants to bow for anybody. Everybody is dragging positions in these groups. Let me tell you, if you continue like this, Biafra may not last 24 hours. Another country will break away again in Biafra. Because personally, I can't stand this. We need to have unity of command. A people are united in the mind. When Ojukwu was alive, everybody knew Ojukwu was. He never came out one day to declare himself. Ojukwu naturally was. So this is what we need to do. We need to learn from the mistakes of this country and form our ideas going forward. We don't need to make the same mistakes Nigeria is making. We don't need to be disorganized. We don't need to be scattered. We need to learn to move forward. The illegality that's happened in Nnamdi Kanu, we should never try it in the Biafra. We should never try it. Dignity of human life should be the watchword. Fair trial, justice, fairness, rule of law should be paramount above everything else. Lust for money, love for money should be frowned upon. We should have institutions that are created to moderate the tests for money. We should. That is what we are for. Because definitely we cannot throw the poor on the ground because we are Igbo and we are filled with billionaires. Then we now march upon each other's head like that. No. We should have we should have institutions that protect the interest of the general people regardless of your social status, your wealth, or your wealth or not. The law must be there to protect you. And we should have special laws